Hey everyone, this is Ms. Moffat from across the Literverse. Will I be able to stop at 5 authors for the sake of this exercise? For viewers new to this tag, the 5 authors tag involves naming 5 authors, big surprise, whose work you've neglected to read. I don't know if this is the start of a new reading challenge, or if it's a venue to air out my shameful reading habits. Either way, I know there are many authors I still need to read, and these 5 are a random sample of my neglectful reading practices. I'm interested in Canadian history. I also like history written from a personal perspective. So how have I managed to avoid Pierre Berton? All of his books are in this house as I film this. Also, somehow Rick Mercer convinced Pierre Berton to appear on CBC's Monday Report for a special celebrity tip, wherein Pierre Berton taught Canada how to roll a joint and offered his books, The National Dream and Prisoners of the North, as rolling surfaces. And you better believe I left a link to that video. She's regularly cited as an inspiration for new and upcoming science fiction and fantasy writers. She's won Hugo Awards, Nebula Awards, and a Locus Award for her writing. She was posthumously inducted into the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, and I haven't read a single word of her writing. In fact, I'm tempted to amend my sci-fi books every geek must read list to include her name among the greats. Alright, I'll admit, this one's a bit of a cheat. I did read Copeland's Player One when it was included on the 2010 Scotiabank Giller Prize longlist. But, well, it was a Massey lecture, so I sometimes don't count it as one of his books, if that makes any sense. It was written for the purpose of a 5-part lecture series here in Canada, so it walks a fine line as a novel. Anyway, Douglas Copeland is an author whose work my extended family will purchase in a hardcover format. We've all inherited a certain snobbishness for hardcovers, and I kid you not. There were Christmases where the same Copeland novel was gifted to 3 or 4 family members. I need to read Copeland. It's not an option at this point. I've read Banana Yoshimoto, I've read Endo Shusaku, and I've read far more manga than I care to admit. So how have I managed to miss Murakami? Admittedly, I balk at the word count of his novels, although now that I'm using an e-reader, I wouldn't have to worry about breaking my hands under the weight of said books. But really, for someone who claims to love Japanese culture as much as I do, I need to read me some Murakami. Hontou ni gomennasai. Not only am I a horrible reader of Canadian literature, I am also a horrible daughter for not having read Mordecai Richler. Mordecai Richler is my dad's single favorite author of all time, and I hope you could hear me say that in capital letters. Richler is one of the titans of Can Lit, and his depictions of Montreal in the 60s and 70s capture my dad's childhood perfectly. I even risked snow-choked streets with my dad to see the film adaptation of Barney's version when it hit theaters in 2010. I mean, people were actively avoiding the roads that night. There was so much snow, and we still went to the theater to see his favorite book on screen. I am such a terrible daughter. Richler! There are more authors that I don't care to admit. So how about you? Who are the top 5 authors that you need to read? I'm curious to see how I might stack up. Signing off.